Horseshoes, Tarot Spread for Rachel's, and it's for the topic past life here using the Lantern Oracles. Looking at the past, present, and I have one for the unknown, and I have two cards for the guidance, okay? The we pair. Do you want me to go to the guidebook here? Let me read the word here. The past. Try to fix something about relationship. Things going wrong. There was a despair. Something happened. Someone cheated in the relationship. You want to call it betrayal. That's what I'm getting. It's the one that is betraying wants to fix. Both party wants to fix something at an amicable way. Even parting. Even parting is still want to make it amicable. So there wasn't any hard feelings toward each other, like anger and even fear. It was back in, am I allowed to channel the timeline? 1700s, 1800s. It's around there. And it's somewhere in Europe. You were, you met your romantic partner. You want me to call it partner, husband? Okay, your guardian say, I need you to, Rachel, I do need you to keep focusing on your breathing and nothing else. Do not ask while I'm doing reading like this. When you start asking questions, it stops me from channeling to connect with your spiritual guardians. And there's no way for me to get information because you're interfering the frequency, okay? That's why I need you to surrender 100% to divine. Wherever your personal desire, let that go, okay? Don't ask anything. Let me try this again. She met her so-called husband. At the workplace. Love at first sight. That's how he felt. But Rachel hesitated. Perhaps there's some sort of traditional side of Rachel's. Now I'm sensing fear from the hesitations. Perhaps you didn't feel like a safe place to meet somebody. Or perhaps it's not the appropriate place to meet someone for intimacy reasons. But anyhow, can we move forward to the story? But they did get married eventually. But betrayal did happen in the marriage. It was upsetting. Anger and fear. I don't know which party have more of the other, or just both. I'm not sure why fear. A lot of fears. It's not just about betrayal or insecurity, but I feel like there's some sort of abuse going on as well. So that's what causing the fear, a lot of fear. Perhaps there's a threat in a physical way. I need you to focus on breathing. Your guardian said you're trying to ask questions. Do not do that, Rachel. It's interrupting me from channeling. It's create inaccurate answer for you. So it's no way for me to channel. It's the truth. Just be aware of that, okay? Now I'm just doing the best I can, but when you cannot hold back from asking questions, I don't do question reading like this through tarot spread. Just be aware of it. You only do question reading after the reading is finished. Then you go ahead and purchase question reading for follow up. But I need to focus on channeling, okay? Just help me up. Just breathe it out, whatever that is. Okay. So there was abuse in the relationship, and that's what hurt the most. And that's why there's a lot of fear. Rachel's, you, the one who was afraid of him. And still trying to mend the parting, that decided to part. It was not easy. It wasn't easy because he rejected the idea of separations. Because he saw you as a piece of asset. Perhaps, I don't know what culture might be. Perhaps it just women's right weren't that much available at the time in that timing. And that's how men usually see female, right, at that time. So the idea of parting, the separations are, it felt like an insult to him, perhaps. Just try to use a better vocabulary to explain what happens, okay? But eventually, Rachel thought that with some sort of support in the legal system, perhaps there was some convincing evidence to say, hey, it is dangerous. So therefore, the court system allowed it, the separations. It was not an easy road. And that's what triggered a lot of fear in that lifetime. I don't I don't think you healed it, this fear, Rachel's. Perhaps changing the environment helped it in that lifetime, but you never really healed that fear. You never healed the so-called anger toward him. Perhaps anger, hate, you can combine those two feelings together. And that's what I'm sensing here. You never healed it, even though you change a better environment or moving on to something else in your life or seems like a better right life situations. But the emotional attachment were way too strong from that particular life experiences. And you carry that from your soul to this lifetime as well. Just be aware of that. And that's what this card repair. You didn't really repair. You didn't really mend. even though parting was amicable, it's because of the soft cost system followed with convincing evidence. So therefore, he didn't have a choice, but he felt like an insult to him. So you need to understand the culture at that time, okay? But let me move on to the person card. The ending and beginning light at either side of the same door, emptied. Do I need to go to guidebook? Emptiness. What is this empty? Do I need to go to guidebook? Okay, I need to go to guidebook. That's what I'm asking. Okay, this is not about emptiness. I don't like the choice of word on this card. It's confusing, okay? It is trying to say that you need to heal. If you don't heal to allow the release of your past life experience, you're gonna get stuck with all those negative feelings because you're so experienced. Doesn't matter how long ago, your soul level will remember that, whether it's in the subconsciousness level or not. But I feel like something might have triggered in this lifetime to re-trigger the fear. It's re-trigger the so-called inequality. Let me use the term inequality instead of fairness. I don't like the term fairness here. It's better to say inequality, right? It's triggering you in this lifetime as well. And the longer you're holding on to those negative feelings, the more intense it's gonna be, because your life experience in current lifetime keep adding it, the intensity that on top of what you have in your past life. So like fear over fear, what you're gonna get? Exponential amount of fears, and it's gonna cripple you with anxiety. That's what I'm getting here. You're getting anxiety. And the only way is to realize that negative emotions are not serving your greatest good. When you're having emotional trigger like this, it'll be wise to work on releasing that. Have you learned to forgive? Have you learned to let go insecurity? You know, do you are codependent on some sort of environmental safety? Like you need to put yourself in a comfort zone to get stuck on that environment because you're triggered by insecurity, you're triggered by fear, like you're triggered by am I safe, am I not safe, all of that going on. It's not just your mind thinking about it, but I feel like you're emotionally reacting to it as well. And that's what's going on, because if you miss that kind of emotional trigger and not deal with it, they're gonna mount it up to anxiety. It's crippling you, like you couldn't function in your life. I hope you understand that. I hope you're not relying on pills. If you keep relying on something, your codependency is another negativity. It's gonna add up to the anxiety as well. Do you want to continue codependency on the external way to cope with anxiety? Or do you rather to embrace the emotional trigger and learn to release that particular negative emotions? This is all up to you, Rachel, to exercise your own free will. And I hope you can learn through this reading to discern the difference between dark and light. No darkness is permanent. I hope you understand. It's up to you what you want to practice, the type of emotions. No one can tell you just because you have some sort of unfavorable life situation triggering the negative emotions. to cause you to continue to practice it. But it's up to you. It's your choice to say, hey, I don't want to be afraid anymore. I don't want to feel insecure anymore. I need to get out of codependency way of life. There are things that you're doing that are codependent on coping it. I don't know what kind of good feelings of activity you're doing. Breathing. Breathing is one of them to help you relax, release, whatever that is. Breathing is just a temporary method. It's not going to help you release negative emotions. Be aware of it. Codependency can come from so many different forms. If anything, that's going to help you temporarily feel good, and that negative emotion still coming back, like anxiety, that means you're codependent on that mechanism to cope with it. So be aware of that. Is there anything else? Let me move on to the unknown confusions. Do I need a guidebook on this? Uncertainty. What is this uncertainty? That's the way how she feel. Confusion. That's the way how you feel. The more you think, the more you're going to be confused. You still haven't acknowledged that you're capable of creating your own emotions. You're blinded by this world to think that emotions are normal. That's another confusion you're having. You're so trapped in this human creations, in this society. You listen to it, you read a lot of that, you talk about them with people, and it's kind of become a norms for you. Those norms are just get you stuck in those false beliefs. That's where you're stuck at. So do you believe that emotions are normal for humans? No one ever talk about it. No one ever discuss about it. I'm not talking about psychology here. People, oh, emotions are normal. We just have to make sure that we balance it, making sure we are releasing those unfavorable ones and keep the good ones. But they never tell you emotions are never a permanent thing. It is just your own self creating it for your own self. Doesn't matter what happened in situations. It just generation of generations like to normalize things. But that's not the truth of matter from a spiritual perspective here. So why even read or get information, or why even discuss about what's in this human creation, in this society? I think you need to question those things. Are you putting a lot of clutter on your mind, and you are unable to integrate your body with your mind, heart, and soul to live this lifetime? Are you missing out something? Only you can integrate those four aspects of life. Nobody can tell you unless you're under a lot of influences from the outside since the day you were born. Family influence, the community influence. Community can influence you in so many ways. Culture, education, day-to-day interaction. Why do I pick up neighbors have a lot of influence on you as well? So are you aware of all those influences? You think that that's what makes you as of today? But that is just an excuse of saying, oh, I don't need to discover who I am. What is the authentic version of me? Well, what's make up of me today is all those experiences I have in my surrounding. That's what make up of me today. But that's external focus. What does that have to do with your internal side? What does that have to do with your soul blueprints? If that's all, if that's your perspective, that's where you're going to get stuck, Rachel. Everything is going to be external side points of view. There's nothing about your soul. That's why you have hard time connecting all aspects of your life. You don't look at from the soul perspective. You're looking at from a physical perspective, and that's what you're missing out. That's why you don't understand how to release emotions. You haven't connected to your soul. You haven't connected to your heart. Matters. You have to turn off the way how you see life. If you don't do that, that's where the confusion is. It's going to continue. It is self-efforts when it comes to healing. Reading like that, I can only give you some insight. But wherever how you're going to enlighten yourself is up to you to embrace those emotional triggers every day. Every day is happenings. Even right now, during this reading, you have emotional trigger. Are you aware of that, Rachel? Are you aware of what kind of emotional trigger were you getting earlier? If you don't, that means you didn't go into your inner world to sense that. You're using your brain to think. You're not sensing your inside. Be aware of that. That's a huge difference. And that's why you have hard time integrating all aspects of your life. Continue with these confusions. Anything else about the unknowns you need to know about? Oh, I already said enough on that. That's a guidance, 2 card here. Trusting trickster. Broken dreams. Trust. Trust is very tricky word. Do you trust, Rachel? Who do you trust? What do you trust? Trusting someone, trusting thing, trusting information, or trusting whatever that you feel that you should trust. It is all come from your feelings, come from your desire, coming from your preference. Preference is desire. It's the same thing, and that's the culprit of that, because you're too, I'm not saying you're too trusting, but you do trust. Perhaps it makes you feel safe to trust that particular individual. Perhaps it feels safe to trust particular information where you get the source from. Trust the word. So therefore, you don't have to discern anymore. And that's where you're having a hard time. That's causing the confusion again. The confusion card. You need to learn not to trust. It's not about doing the distrust. It is about do not use the word trust or distrust to live your life. If you're engaging in the word trust or distrust, you're trapping yourself in confusion again. You're trapping yourself either in fear to distrust, or you're trapping yourself to trust because you have personal preference, personal desire in that regard. It's all driven by what? Some form of emotions. That's why you use the word trust and distrust. And I hope you realize that you don't need to practice trust to distrust to make decision, to discern something, to research something. Can you have a neutralized attitude to live this lifetime? So that way you don't have to keep practicing trust and distrust in that regard to what? To increase your insecurity, to increase your fear. And you are not even aware of that. How is that connecting to your comfort zones? So let's move on to the broken dream. Do you want me to say any further about trusting? Okay, broken dream. Only you can accept or reject your dreams? Let me go to a Bible and see what that means. I don't think it's about dreaming. The context is not too good on this card for your case. Stop believing in something when you should be believing in things that you shouldn't believe in, but you believe in. It's all driven by your preference. Wherever is making you feel safe, wherever is making you feel good. I hope that you realize how powerful your emotion can influence you to a downward path. Giving up dreams? I don't know what that means. I need more context here. Once upon a time you have dreams. Passion, you mean? That's what it passions? So it's not dreams. I don't like the word terminology dreams. I think it's meant passions. Very particular passions. Once upon a time that you have that, Rachel's. I feel like yeah, it's given up on it. Maybe it wasn't the right timings. Perhaps situations caused you to give up on that idea. Is there something that she needs to move forward to that? To rediscover herself? Yeah, that's exactly what I just said. You need to go back in there to rediscover yourself. What is it that you truly love? What is the meaning of life to you? I think that you need to dive deeper to really discover this yourself, not for the outside. Rachel, stop focusing on the outside. Why do I feel like you've been focusing a lot on the outside? That's why you have hard time healing. That's why you have hard time releasing your negative feelings. And you know you go through life experiences and you have to learn and grow. If you're not learning and then you're not growing. But if you're growing, but what are you learning from? Are you learning from negative emotion to grow negativities? And that's not a light path. That is a dark path. You're encouraging your own darkness to create anxiety. Just be aware of that. How are you growing? You just need to ask yourself that. That's how you tell, you're creating your own negative emotion. You're the one who created, and there's no reason for you to say, hey, I'm not no longer creating this anymore. And that's called releasing it. It's up to your own free will to do that. But if you don't even want to exercise your free will and you need a book to tell you step 1 to 10, there is no such thing when it comes to your inner creations. And you should know when you're having emotional reactions as well, every day. Unless you are too focused on the interaction and, oh, I don't even want to feel what I'm feeling right now. I just want to focus on this interaction with this specific situation and individual by doing, using your body to do things, your five senses from your body, talking, hearing, sensing, smelling, touching. If that's all you're doing, that's not integrating your heart and soul, but you're using your mind and bodies a lot. Sensing, it's about your gut's feeling. Sensing about it's that feeling that you have inside. What is this that is telling you? What is that feeling is? What is that particular feeling? Is it fear? Is it sadness? Is it some sort of a compassion? I don't know why the word compassion comes to me. You have sympathy toward particular situations. That's what I'm getting here as well. And that is a feelings. That feelings, is a preference again. Is a personal desire, the sympathy. Because the sympathy you're having is not universal. You're isolating particular situation, things, or people to have that sympathy. I hope you understand that. If there's outside that zone, you wouldn't have sympathy toward that particular situation, thing, and peoples. Do you see how you are taking sympathy into a dark side, not into the light side? It does not align to your universal love frequency. Universal love has no negativity like that. And that's what drowning you into those negative energy that you keep emitting through those negative emotions, as simple as sympathy as well. Is there any more that I need to talk about these broken dreams? Rejections or even failure, whatever you're experiencing in this lifetime, those are all negative. They create some form of negative feelings, or perhaps you were triggered by failure or rejections, and also trigger some sort of feelings. I think if you go back to it and then reflect on that, you should know what they are. Those are some of the inner work that you have to do in order to release your negative feelings. I mean, I'm just like grasping whatever the significant piece of it. It's impossible in this reading to talk about your entire lifetimes. I don't know. It's just decades of accumulation. It's not just that, but including your past life that I mentioned earlier that I was channeling the story for you. Is there any more that I need to don't abandon yourself? That's what I'm getting here. When you say abandon yourself, it's meaning you abandon your soul, you abandon your heart, like leave them behind, like not taking them as priorities, which is that's why you're going downward hill. I mean, downward hill, downhills. Help me out here, you guys. Downhill, going downhills. Thank you. Anything else? Lost time? You wasted a lot of valuable cycles. Are you aware you're in cycles whenever you're having emotional triggers? When you decide not to do anything about them, whether you're aware of them or not, when you don't take advantage of them, you're going to lose a lot of opportunity to heal yourself. They don't happen all the times, Rachel, so you have to take advantage of them. ASAP is not something you can just sit on it one lifetime after lifetime. That's why the past card repair. That's a major factor. It's not just about your past life, but even in this current lifetime, your past of this current lifetime. That card is also applied to that repair card that you have to heal and mend. That's why you lost so much time here. One of your life purpose is to awaken yourself, to understand why you shouldn't ignore your heart and souls, why you need to turn off your egoistic self, why you need to shift your outer focus to your inner focus. Another life purpose, yeah, of course, you need to heal. It's about healing journey as well. So you don't have to be so sick with anxiety, with fear, anything else. Regret, you're having regrets. Headaches. Oh, those are huge headaches. Are you having headaches, Rachel's? Full regrets causing headaches. You know, you're having emotional triggers again, Rachel's. Do you realize it? Are you taking advantage of it right now to release that? Do not breathe it out. Breathing it out, diverting it, delaying healings. Ask yourself why you're having headaches. Ask yourself why you're having regrets. Your perspective needs to change. Remember, your soul always lived through lifetime after lifetime. Why do you still hold on to headache and regrets? You still have work remaining lifetime. You're still living. Your body might perish one day, but your soul's still living. Why not take advantage of this opportunity and release it? Why not change the way how you perceive life? Do you have to live with regrets? Or shouldn't you embrace your mistake and say, hey, making mistake are wonderful. That's how I learned that, hey, I still have darkness in me. That's what I need to release on. Can you not change that into a positive statement instead of perceiving it in a negative statements to continue to hurt yourself? I'm just giving you an example right here. So that way you don't have to like say, oh, I'm regretting this. But no, why not embrace those mistakes, okay? With a positive statement and do something about that internally, not externally through breathing. Is there any more for Rachel here? I'm going to end here, and I hope you found this helpful to you. And may you find light from your spiritual guardian. Question reading for Erica using the white Newman tarot here. Will I find will Erica find a job soon here? Okay, I got the Fool card, and I have the High Priestess card here. Due to nudity, I have to block it. Let me see. The Fool. Why do I see homeless here? The first impression I'm getting. Why do you need downsizing? Into a tiny little luggage on her back. I mean, that's the symbolism here. That's what I'm getting here. Downsizing could mean so many things. If the living expense is too unaffordable, you need to look for other alternative. That's what I'm getting here. The High Priestess card is, I'm getting an attitude vibe here for some reason. This is too much about immediate gratification, perhaps. And that's what the attitude is about. Try to, the knowledge, I don't know what that means, what kind of knowledge. Anticipations. Instead of do something practical in your day-to-day life to meant something. cannot really use the anticipated knowledge to do that. You gotta look within your current situation and your past to understand your patterns, your behaviors, why that you have hard time need to do this from the first card. You need to be more curious and more adventurous in that regard, not rely on some sort of so-called blessing, not rely on future informations, because your energy is the one who's creating your future. So I hope you're aware of that, Erica. You're the one who creating it. It's not like can be project. But right now, I will say no, you're not going to find a job immediately based on the first card that I'm getting. Based on the second card, the energy, the vibing that you're having, if you're not willing to change that attitude, the way how you approach your life, it is still a no. You will not find a job anytime soon. Instead, you need to work on your environment now, what you need to do to shrink it, right? You need to assess your expenses as well. Are those necessary? If not, downgrade them. Downsizing is not like, yeah, if you need a downgrade, if you don't need those type of so-called convenient, if you can do it yourself, do it yourself, you know. If you have to go through convenient to do something, it's depend what that is, okay? So I'm not here to channel every single little detail about your life, and I think you should able to figure that out, right? To stay in the practical sense. I mean, do you need that? If there's something you can solve, if you don't need it, to declutters, just start with the basic living. Is there anything about the room? Too much clutters that you don't need? That's what I'm hearing from your spirit guide. Anything else? You need a calmer environment to have clarity. Clutter in your room is not going to help you. It just create more chaos, confusion, or scatter your energy at different directions. It's only create more expenses for you. That's what I'm getting. And you need to go within to realize it. Are you assessing your past to understand the pattern that you're creating for yourself? There's some sort of behavioral pattern you're creating for yourself. Are you aware of that? And I think you need to look into that. You need to break those patterns that's not serving your greatest good. Anything else for Erica here? And God, you in here, may you find life in the spirit guide. Horses readings, light purpose for Tonya using the Twin Femme Soul Ascension deck. Define creativities. Let me go to the guidebook and see about your past. Why are you having heart pain, Tonya? That's what I'm sensing here for you. Your heart is bleeding. That's what I'm getting. Where is the... Where is that page here? This is a not olive amber color. Yvonne 99. Hmm. Your soul will not rest until you surrender and align with your soul's original blueprints. Okay, this is hmm. Once you surrender and align to the soul blueprints, everything will easily revealed according to the divine timings. But there's too much resistance on that, and that's what's going on in your past up to now. That's what I'm getting here. Why are you resisting? The ego is too strong. Your belief is too strong. What I think is too strong. The way the way you interpret information is too strong. Hmm. Anything else here? Your perspective is too strong. What you value is too strong. That is why you still have hard time surrendering as of today to align to your soul blueprints. And let me move on to the present card, awareness. And I feel like understanding yourself is the light purpose for you. Surrendering to the divine is a light purpose for you. Perhaps you're still not co-creating with divine. That's what I'm getting here. That's why you're still having problems surrendering to divine, because you still had hard time co-creating with it. Perhaps you don't believe you have a co-creator. Perhaps your ego is still too strong that, Tonya, this is my life. I decide what I do with this lifetime. I'm the one who decide what is good for me and what is not good for me. Do you see eye of that? That's what creating this egos. You're not seeing the higher pictures of where your soul coming from. Beside understanding your body was given by your parents, but not understanding your soul, it's given by divine. If you don't co-create with divine, what are you doing in this lifetime? You just want to live in gratifications. That is something that you don't have the clear visions. That is the reason why you couldn't align to this universal law, because you're missing out the surrendering to divine to co-create this lifetime with it. Your spiritual guardian, it's here. It's everywhere, but nowhere. You can talk to your spiritual guardian anytime, anywhere. However, if you're not willing to surrendering to divine, how are you going to even connect to this type of frequency that is so high dimension? It's not even on this physical plane. Are you aware your soul coming from that place? You're like a falling angel in this lifetime. distant from this defined frequency. And that's why your energy is sinking at such a low levels, unable to align to this universal love. This is the awareness that you need to have. You need to turn off your egos, the I thing, and surrender. Self awareness about your inside, self awareness about this universe. They are your life purpose in this lifetime. Living a life beyond the life situations. No matter what life situation you're encountering, it doesn't matter related to love, relationship, health, money, living environments, even injury. Injury can come many forms. I'm getting mental injury, emotional injury, physical injury, soul injury, whatever those injuries that you have been experiencing now, past, and future, you're still gonna have to embrace them because there are underlying soul lessons in each one of them to learn about your reactions on each one of them. That's how you learn and grow through them. Without those life events, how do you learn about yourself? How do you learn about the attachment that you've been attaching all this time? The awareness is the key here. This card, in order to have clear vision, it's all about surrendering to co-create from above, not below. Don't try to co-create life situation. Don't try to co-create physical abundance. If you're still doing that because you're reacting to living in this physical form of life, and you know you can't take it down to the grave with you, it doesn't matter what you have, doesn't matter what kind of resources that you have acquired until the last breath that you take on this lifetime. Your soul's gonna leave this body and that's it. And then once you go back to that place, to that spiritual realm and what it is, and you're gonna be evaluating your soul energy. Oh, Tonya, that's all you did? That little healing, that little releasing? And then you're gonna have to answer to define, hey, what have you been doing down here all this lifetime? We've been nudging you, been sending you a spiritual sign, and you still decided not to co-create with divine, and you just still decided you want to have this physical gratification instead of taking care of your soul. You know there's a limitation of taking care of your body. Are you doing too much on that? Is your focus is still too much on that? I'm not saying you have to go buy what gadget, I don't like to say it. Let me use an example here. Oh, I'm shopping, window shopping. Suddenly, I find I like this outfit. Let me buy and put it on my body, or maybe a piece of jewelry. So this really match my outfit. Let me get this. Or I mean, I'm just giving you a hypothetical, right, example here. So therefore, but then think about, oh, I don't really need it. I already have enough in my closet. I don't need to dress my body up like this. I just need the what's necessary to keep me warm, to keep me decent, to go to different whatever places that is appropriate to dress this way. In that regard, so I hope you see how physical gratification can trigger you to prefer this than your soul. That's what causing your soul to separate from you right now, the consciousness. And that's what creating the subconsciousness, because you keep distancing from your own soul, the true form of you. Yeah, and that's what causing ego, consciousness, subconsciousness to break apart. This is called soul fragmentations, another terminology. And other people are not realizing it. So, Tanya, the only way to truly live this lifetime, to live from your soul level, not for your body, not for your mind, not even for your heart, because your heart is like bleeding, it's in pain. You're asking me what that means because you have trauma, you have wounds. That's why I'm getting heaviness in your heart. Are you aware of that? Probably you're not aware of it. You probably think, oh, you move on. You probably think you healed. I'm just only talk about you, Tanya. What happened to you? Your life experience are one of a kind. Only you know. That's why it's heavy. That's why it's in pain. That's why it's bleeding your heart. If you're gonna let this type of heart to guide you while it's in darkness, you won't have crystal clear vision at all. It won't have awareness at all. The inter awareness is beyond that. It's way beyond life experiences that you're attaching to still. So, yeah, another life purpose is to live this lifetime from a soul perspective. And let me move on to this compassion card here for the unknown part of it. Page hundreds. All of them. Hmm. Open your heart through your heart chakra. This is a green color, healing the heart. It's not something that you need to do to activate this. But are you aware of how you conditioning love around you? You need to have more compassion for yourself. So that way you don't have to keep attaching all those negative life experiences that you've been having that causing your heart to close because of the pain, because of the trauma. Word for that is that you're feeling in your heart, causing all these burdens. Not that you have to feel it every day to have this type of injury in your heart. It is still there. Are you aware when you're interacting, it reflected because of your heart pain? Letting go of judgment is challenging when you're still having this heart pain. At the same time, it's encouraging certain desire out of you as well. Avoiding certain situation, avoiding certain individuals. That's what I'm getting. That is the desires. Avoiding. Why do I feel like you're aware of that? I feel like we talked about this before. Hmm. Your self-expression, it's really coming from your inside. Those attachments that you keep attaching to, they do express through your behavior, your language, the way you view your outer world. It's on there every day. You probably are not realizing and assume that is your personalities. be aware those are just false character of you. That's not your true personality. You haven't been even ignite your soul connection yet to really understand your soul blueprints. This position is for the unknown, the thing that you need to know that you don't know about, Tonya, and that's what it is. The previous two card, I already mentioned all of those light purposes for you. You need to change the approach how you're embracing this spiritual journey with grace, seeing the gift in your lessons is a way to honor your feelings, giving you permission to be yourself. You have to learn to let go of judgment. The judgment is sabotaging you to heal. You need to pay more attention of how you're sabotaging through your judgment. It takes time to realize the judgment that you do and learn to let go of judgment so you won't sabotaging so-called the cycling that you're on. Each cycle is triggering your emotion. It's an opportunity for you to learn to release it. If you choose not to do it, then you miss this opportunity and you have to wait for the next opportunity. Those opportunities don't come around all the time. And that's what this co-creation with the universe, with your spirit guides are about. Co-creation. I hope you understand. Without this co-creations, there is no opportunities. That means you will stuck in your own dark path forever until the end of this lifetime. Finding forgiveness, accept them as well throughout these journeys is critical. Learning and self-discoveries are your life purpose in this lifetime, Tonya. And let me move on to this guidance card here. Master Alchemist, Valid Femme Activations. I'm not talking about heavy body, Tonya. You keep mixing heavy body. This is about you, Tonya. That's where the problem is. Your ego gets in the way, your judgment get in the way. When your spirit guide is trying to tell you something, and then you're still resisting it. Remember this card, the first card right here, that's mentioning about the past. I think you need to go back to what you're doing. You're doing exactly what you're doing right now. Resisting, not when to surrender to define. Enlightenment doesn't happen. It doesn't work with your brain. You're using your brain. You try to, what do you call, Yeah, that's the judgment, Tonya. That's the judgment of the eagles that you're not willing to surrender. That's where the problem is. You're going into circle again, walking through this huge circle over and over. That's what your spirit guide is trying to nudge you to understand what you're doing to yourself because you don't have this awareness here. Lack of awareness what you're doing. We already talk about the judgment. We talk about you don't have awareness. We already talk about you're not willing to surrender. It's easy for me to say. It's hard for you to do because you're using your brain too much. You don't want to go within to feel your own emotions. When you post such a comment, do you even feel your own emotions? What's going on? Why you said what you said? Yeah, you're stuck in the norm, the human creation of norms. Let me go to this last card, 92, the guidance part. Violet flame is a sacred ascension tool assisting twin flames and light worker to activate their spiritual gifts so they can come into alignment with their missions. I'm not sure what the intention of that is. Is there something she needs to work on? Twin flame? What's that mean? Alignment to what? To her missions? All those light purposes that mentioned in these readings? She need to work on align to those light purposes. That's what your spirit guide's saying here. So you might want to go back and listen to those light purposes that I mentioned in these readings. Because you're misaligned to those light purposes that cause you to stagnate, cause you to recycle and over, not doing enough to release. Knowing something is not enough. The doing part require no knowing. It's all about sensing your inside. It's all about sensing that emotions when you're releasing it, you know you're dissipating it. That's the sensation require no mind to translate into word. You have to feel it on your inside to do that. This is a different level of awakening. This is like a soul connections that you're still missing while doing the inner work. If you're doing the inner work. I don't like the word magician of your own reality. She's gonna misinterpret it. Because she thinks too much. Because I know Tonya thinks too much. Is there a particular wording you want me to use? Anything else on this card that I need to talk about? So I'm glad to end it here for you. May you find light from your spirit guide. Horses reading general category for Mercedes using the ethereal boon tarot for you here. The first position is about the past, King of Swords. Determination, that's the type of energy that I'm getting here. Perhaps specific things that you desire, perhaps the specific goals that you want to achieve. I don't think it's easy. Some of those achievements that you have to go through some obstacles in order to get to that particular desire, whatever standard expectation, so forth, that you're having about that particular, wherever you're going out to achieve them. But there's some triumph in that process as well. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, the one that takes the longest, because they do allow you to understand yourself better. That's what I'm getting. Whatever obstacle that you went into, because that is a personal growth factor in that. That's what I'm getting here. And let me move on to the present here, the Fool. Holding on to something, that's what I'm getting here, that you're still having a hard time letting them go. Whatever that specific attachment, I think it has to do with that determination vibe that you're having, the desire that you're having, and those specific goals that you have triumphs on, but also come with some sort of specific attachment. I feel like you have scratched the surface. I feel like you know some of them already. But it's saying that you haven't released them, like you're attaching to those experiences in a negative way because of obstacles, partially because you're stuck in certain belief, like norms, the normalization of humans' emotions. Hard for you to understand that. Oh, that's really not the normal things to have, just because everybody's a practicing them. And this Fool card is saying that you need to be more adventurous. You need to be more curious about your heart, your soul, not just your body and mind, to live this lifetime if you really want to have a different breakthrough. This breakthrough, it's about further personal growth in a different approach, in a different perspective. But the question is, are you brave enough to expand yourself in that category? Let me move on to the unknowns. Any more need to elaborate on those first two positions? Queen of Swords, the unknown card positions. Something deep, something like a burden. You're not always happy, Mercedes. And you know what? There's fear, there's tears, there's pain, there's anger, there's worry, there's some sort of concern as well. Those are not always happiness. I'm speaking all those negative feelings that you have experienced in this lifetime, wherever that you're encountering, people, life, situations. whatever that is you're facing, including those obstacles from those first cut, with triumphs over that, that says a lot. But at the same time, you carrying those burdens. That's why it's so hard to have true happiness. And that's where your mindset are stuck in that as well, because you are emotionally triggered by those situations. But here is saying that you don't have to put yourself in this reactive phase to experience life, even though you have in the past, and then you still continue practicing it now and possibly in the future. But here is saying that you can change that. You can change this approach of life by saying that I choose not to react to this. Even if I'm triggered, I will learn to release that. So that way I can neutralize my perspective of my past without holding on to it. So I hope you see your guardian is trying to nudge you to a different perspective on how you should approach your life in this remaining lifetime. Is there any more about the unknown part of it? There's more. What is this? Nothing. Can you take some deep breath, Mercedes, and release whatever you need to release? Why does it feel like feeling blockage from you? I'm trying to connect with your spiritual guardians, but I have hard time getting the rest of it. What is it more? There's more, but I'm not sure. Is you the one who's trying to do that, or is your guardians will try to tell me there's more you need to know? I'm not sure. Doubt. But that's okay, Mercedes. Can you release and focus on your breathing and nothing else? So that way you don't have to think about it. You don't have to getting into this emotional reaction phase. Is there any more for Mercedes in this unknown? Okay. It has to do with your uncertainty. Let me move on. Guidance, 10 of Swords. 10 of Swords is like, in traditional sense, it's like it's the ending and the beginning of all the attachment, all the stress, all the negativities. That's what I'm getting here. All those obstacles, all those burdens that you choose to hold on to. I feel like if you can go back and reflect on each one of them, it's going to be a new beginning for you, because you can realize based on this unknown card, you can actually do something positive about them to do some proper self transformations. It's like learning and growing at the same time about this self transformation, but you're not doing it using negative feelings to do that. You're not using fear to do that. You're not using worry to do that. Instead, you use compassion, you use forgiveness, and you use unconditional love to learn to do this self transformation. And you're going to have to pull each one of those attachment out of here, because they're so ingrained deep into the roots that you're having. I feel like family background has something to do with that as well. Any more? Is there any more, Mercedes? Okay, let me move on to the last card, Page of Swords. Changing perspective, changing your mind, changing your attitude. That's just something is necessary if you want to have successful self-transformation to release those attachments. And you have to change those belief system that you're having as well. That's what I'm getting here. If you want to be successful, if you want to have a new beginning, if you want to change the way you approach your life, is there anything else here? This is about integrating four aspects of your life, your body, mind, heart, and souls. If you're leaving one of them out, then you will never able to find happiness in this. You will forever lost in your own darkness. And that's why you're not happy all the time, Mercedes. Happiness should come from the inside, not from the outside. Do you remember that? If you're seeking happiness on the outside, and you will never find true happiness. And my guide to end here, may you find life in your spiritual guardian. Horse reading for Sabri, guidance about important legal letter using the Chinese 5-element oracle here for you. Water pig being in the fold, card number 60. This is about the past. Movement and change. This card energy is about go with the flow and stop resisting the inevitable. It seems like you didn't go with the flow of something, and therefore the employer think that you're against the company, wherever your company value or wherever your company goes. I think you didn't go with the flow with it, and that's what's going on. So yeah, your employer doing something to apprehend you. Wherever you didn't follow, I don't know about your company policy, I'm not sure about your tasks, your specific jobs that you're required to do if you're being assigned to it, and then your employer required certain outcome of it and you didn't go with the flow of that, and that's what's going on. Okay, that is the past. Now we talk about the present. Earth snake number 6. Resources that needed it. Let me read into this and channel a little bit. The word generosity here. You need to be more giving, not being calculating with your employer. I feel like your preference gets in the way, your feelings gets in the way, your desire gets in the way. Perhaps you're not receptive to your employer needs. So this keyword generosity, that's what you need to have now. Can you engage yourself in this energy? Or do you have it's not only receptivity issue, but you have a lack of so-called imbalanced compassions to understand about your employer needs. Anything else about this person card? You need to have deeper understanding about your behaviors, your language, what motivate you to say and do and feel certain way. There's some underlying problem that you're having, your inner problems, and not dealing with that, like fear, like anxiety. You seem to be chaotic, confusion, not sure, lack of direction in life. You're burying some problem within you to trigger all this, emotional instability you have. It's already acting up on the surface, affecting your everyday life. That is only create more obstacle for your own self for not willing to face your own problems, your inner problems here. This is not even the outer problems. This first card, the past, is talk about your own inner problem, creating this chaos for yourself. And you need to be more generous, be more understanding about your employer. And let me move on to the next one, okay? This is self-inflicted. Let me go to the unknown part of this. You cannot live your life having emotional problems and assume that you need to go out and fix it. You cannot fix emotional problem on the outside. You got to do it on the inside. Water rabbits. Let me see what's the unknown part of this. Support. The spiritual is trying to support you, trying to nudge you to see your inner problems. Not that the spiritual isn't there to support you, but you're not listening. You're engaging in so much reactive behaviors. It's hard for you to realize you need to do something about your own self, the way how you see, the way how you feel. You need to face your own demon, another word, okay? If you're not willing to face your own darkness, then how are you going to improve your attitude toward your employer, toward your work environment, even your co-workers? Argument or picking fight with people out of fear that you need to protect yourself instead of having more team spirit in that regard. Or you think you have team spirit, but other people don't think that way. Yeah, that's why you have hard time having receptivity toward your employers. So we take collaborations. This isn't just about you, right? But your attitude is affecting other people's. So I hope you see why you need to work on yourself first. The longer you postpone in facing your own so-called demon or darkness, the more problem you create for your own self because you're not understanding your emotional issues that you're having, triggering you to make decisions, triggering you to make certain what behavior, say certain things. So I don't know. about whether you're still on that job or different job, but you want guidance about this. So this is a very deep readings, Sabri, talking about the root cause of the problem here. What got started it? What is it that you need to know? So be aware about Horseshoe's tail spread. It's quite deep. There is no quick solution on the outside. You need to fix your inside first. Is there anything else about this unknown card? So this is the guidance here. 57. It's the support. You want me to elaborate? Okay, let me move on to the last card. Let go of control. Loosen up. To clear yourself. You need to learn to release your worry, causing a lot of tension within your own self, unable to see the truth of a matter, to unable to read the letter properly. You need to go back to reread the letter properly when you're calm, when you're not having emotional reactions. You're misinterpreting the letters. That is caused by your own emotional issues, your inner problems. Is there anything else about that? Is it a really legal letter? I think you're using wrong terminology. You shouldn't call it a legal letter. That's why your spirit guide tell you go back and reread it. I don't know what language is it written in. It seems like first language is not English for you. Yeah, you have emotional problems. You're not seeing things the way it needs to be seen. You're not reading the letter like the truth. If English is your first language, then I don't know what else to tell you. But I feel like you need to go back when you're calm, reread the letter. And stop using fear. And stop using protections. Remember the second card? Generosity, be more giving. Where's the compassions? Why are you living in fear instead of living in love? Do you understand your negative emotions are creating a lot of negative energy for yourself? And that's the guide and you're not listening. I don't know what to tell you because this is the guidance right here, Sabri. If you listen instead of reacting with emotion all this time, are you aware you have been triggered emotionally while I'm doing this reading for you? You have hard time listening to my reading here. Your spirit guides already gave you the guidance here. Misinterpretation because you're reacting through feelings. And I don't even understand why you use the term legal letters. You need to go and reread it. That's the guidance to making sure you're not misinterpreting it, and making sure you're more compassionate about your employer situations, because you did something in the past to trigger all those problems. You have to face it if you did something wrong from that job, right? Is there something about apology? Yeah, if you have to mend it with your word for your ex-employer, is that the next guidance? I don't know what it is about apology, but if you did something wrong, you should apologize. That's what I'm getting here. I'm not here to project the outcome of that letters, okay? Is there anything else for Sabri here? Okay, I'm glad to end it here. May you find light from your spiritual guardians. Or Sue's question readings from Annabella. Why quiz want to interact with you? You got to use the place oracle here. The first one is the past. Let me see what that say. Sue. Why the Sues? Social being. He wants to socialize with you. That's what I'm getting here. Is there any motivations behind that? Besides, it is normal to socialize with you. I think he just generally socialize with people that he feel attracted to. But let's leave it at that, because I'm not like really. Yeah, attraction doesn't mean anything romantic, okay? So just keep that in mind. Just keep it general. Like, okay, somebody find you, having the right vibe, so they want to talk to you. Just simple as that, okay? But let me see the person card. Airport. Why do I feel like it's come and go? The interactions. It's not like nothing serious. That's what I'm getting here. It's like he's arriving to this point. He wanting to somebody, and yeah, so he interact with this. So and that was it. I mean, afterward he moved on to with another interactions. So I feel like it's not just you, Annabella. It's just the way he is. So I don't find that to be serious, whatever that interaction might be. But he just do it out of necessary. Sometimes I feel like he's bored, so therefore he wants to socialize. So boredom, or he just try to kill Bill the time. That's what I'm getting. So wherever he's saying, having conversation with you, I feel like that was it. Is mostly boredom. That's what I'm getting here from your spiritual guardian. But let me see what is the unknown part of the word space here. Something about the work environment. I think he want to get in touch with what's going on in the workspace. That's why he socialize with certain people, and to see what this individual know about the work environment. Like keep in touch what's going on. I think it's like a networking for him. So, and that's to you why he's interacting with you is like a networking. Maybe he can get inside informations. that things that he doesn't know and wants to know about. That's what the that's one of the motivation why he's interacting with you. So let me move to this guidance here. Windswept vision. Feel like maybe the vibe maybe of the interaction could be stormy sometime. Maybe it come up to being do you have an ulterior motive in this? So, and I feel like Annabella, I think there are things that perhaps you should withhold. There's something that you could say, I don't know. I might not be the right person to even talk about that. I feel like you need to stay away from gossip as well. If you can have a neutralized attitude at work, wherever that is. I mean, you said you guys work in the same company, like not to add any fire into any comment. Sometimes it's okay not to comment, and you're gonna have to discern that, okay? But you don't want to come off like, oh, I don't have any team spirit either, right? If you come into a work environment, so you're just gonna have to thought carefully or what to say and what not to say. And sometimes it is okay to not to talk about work. Sometimes a small talk it'll be fine, to engage socializing, to build a team spirit, to get to know somebody. Do you see my point here? And that's the guidance here. So yeah, I'm not saying that you need to hide anything, but there's sometimes there's things that you don't need to gossip, not to add anything to it, you know sometimes you're not the right person to talk to about certain things. It's okay to say, yeah, I don't know, yeah, in that regard. So I mean, that explain why he wanted to interact with you. Okay, from this unknown part of it, that's answer your questions. Is there anything else for Annabella here? So Annabella, let go of your fear, let go of needed to protect yourself. That type of negative energy are not good, okay? It's only create more of the same thing in the work environments. Do it out of love, okay? Just do it out of happiness. There's no need to be afraid or no need to be cautious in that way. Just be mindful of your negative energy. It's like manifesting more negative energy, okay? Whenever you're interacting with individuals. But you don't have to be so suspicious about with that person. It's just a matter of what to say and not what to say, and maintain this neutral attitude at work. So I'm just guided to end here. May you find light from your spiritual guardian. Journal reading from the Horseshoes Tarot spread for Troy. Guided to use the Hush Tarot for you here. Okay, let me block a little bit because I don't want to get in trouble with TikTok because they don't like nudity on a card. But let me do some blocking here. But I'll whip through it when I get to that. Okay, the first one is the past. Three of Swords. Let me take a look at the visual here. The eye. I think the focus. This eye don't have the pupils, but it's so blindly focused on particular things, particular situation, particular actions, or even behavior of another living species. Doesn't have to be another living species. It could be another human being as well, right? So that's where your focus were so much on that, so blindly, and not quite understanding why. And I feel like there's a lot of insight of that type of focus, that type of attention, if you want to call that. Perhaps there's something interesting, perhaps there's something so obnoxious that you are paying attention to that as well. It does not have to be the situation, it does not have to be making you curious. Sometimes it could be, oh, you're turned off by that caught your attention as well. Just be aware of that. uh, those type of focus can go both way, in a positive way and in a negative way. Okay, but I found that to be an extreme side of it. It's not like a balanced approach regarding your focus on that, whatever that particular situations. And now let me move on to the person card is the Empress here. So I'm just seeing this, the Empress having a crow, like a costume crow on top of her head. I'm also seeing a bee carrying some type of a rope circling around her, like tight, very tight. It's loose and it's going to go get very tight because of the lacking Pacific wisdom, lacking Pacific insight, and not wanting to go deeper than whatever that you're paying attention to, Troy. I think that is the culprit of why you couldn't grow in this lifetime. You have hard time growing the necessary positivity. You have hard time growing the right frequency inside of you in order to have beautiful abundance in this lifetime. And that's where you're stuck at. So the wisdom that this is defining, the crow, is symbolized wisdom, a different type of wisdom that is come from the intuitive side of it, and it has nothing to do with your physical five sensations. Just be aware of that. When it comes to intuition, it is coming from the inside, it's coming from that soul level, so-called the higher self. And I feel like that is really lacking in that regard. But let me move forward to the unknown part of it. So this is the Queen of Swords here. I'm seeing her. Yeah, she's naked, but she's sitting on the crow, and the crow is screaming because I feel like she is chaining using a those little star. It's like a sharp little thing, like a blade. I don't know, ninja star, with a wire going around, chaining this crow, like chaining your wisdom down, not when to let it unleash. So do you see that crow is screaming like, "Let me out, free me, liberate me." I think this is like this is what's going on inside of your soul. Like, liberate me, let me come out, let my wisdom shine, let my wisdom, overcome that ego self. Let that wisdom overcome that gratification. Let that wisdom, destruct that personal desire, so I can come through here to have a different perspective, to have a different, like, deeper understanding of life. And that's what's going on here. So, and this lady is wearing a mask here. Okay, it's another crow face, like pretending to know something, but yet is still lacking depth. Okay, that's what she's wearing, this mask, the mask of crow. What is a crow? Thinking that I know it, I already learned enough about life, I have enough experience about that, so therefore my decision, my conclusion can navigate me to make better decision, because she think that she's growing, she think that she understand about life purpose, or that particular life situation, or even that particular individuals. And that is the culprit of this issue, that you lacking the depth to understand yourself, because your focus are still on this outside perspective. You haven't had a better understanding on your inside. How do you draw conclusion? Why do you say what you say? Why do you think what you say? Why do you feel the way you feel? And I feel like that's where the issue here is, that you haven't dived deep enough to understand the part of you when your focus is so much on the outside. And let me move on to the guidance part here, okay? This is the Knight of Swords here. I'm seeing this guy, also wearing a mask, and is also out in the wild with a whole bunch of wild creature in it, okay? Like it's getting ready to fight for something. This Knight of Swords getting ready to do what it must to survive in this chaotic world. But this is trying to tell you, you're still wearing a mask. You're not understanding why you do what you do, but except to survive in this chaotic world. Because you're still in this reactive phase of life. And it's hard for you to have a deeper understanding about you. Why do you have the attachment? Why your focus is so much on the outside? What is this that you're still trying to change or try to anticipate on the outside that really gets you nowhere? But I think that's where the stagnant energy is coming in here. This is trying to tell you that you need to change your approach to life. You need to shift your focus on the inside, not on the outside. Even though the outside is triggering you to be reactive, but can you see these reactions as a way to trigger you to go within yourself to see what is going on in your inner world? How do you feel every day? How do you feel when that particular situation is triggering your external focus? Can you connect back to your inside to see where that is? Because there is a mirroring effect that you so need to do that inner reflections to help yourself to release certain so-called emotion, to release certain belief, to release certain value, to release certain past experiences that cause the judgment, because they're all form of attachment to cause you to be the way you are today, to focus on the outside but not trying to change your inside to be a better person toward something greater, toward a lasting abundance in this lifetime. When I'm talking about lasting abundance, I'm not talking about the external resources. I'm talking about your internal resources. The quote, remember, the wisdom. That is your internal resources that you cannot obtain from the outside. So I hope you will stop seeking on the outside for this wisdom and start seeking within yourself to man what you need to man in order to release, to liberate this inner wisdom that you have at that soul level. And I hope that this reading will help you to connect with your higher self instead of letting your egoistic self to control you and to influence you in some way. I'm glad to end here. May you find life from your spiritual guardian. Horses waiting for Leilani journal category using the tarot of opposition here. First card, the full card here. I'm getting the reversal here. Like you've gone through quite a bit of so-called obstacles in this lifetime, in the past. Talking about your past in this position here. And yeah, you have some sort of baggages that you are still attaching to them based on whatever obstacle that you have been through. And you are reacting to those situations as well. but you did what you could to resolve them, to navigate through them, to get to where you are today. And currently, the present card, I'm just getting, this High Priestess card is asking you to be an observer instead of being the person who experienced all of that. Can you pull yourself out of that character or that role and become the observer and go back and review each one of those obstacles that you have been through? I think there's an important task for you now and the future to help yourself, because there's something that you're missing. Your guardian said there's some soul lessons that you're missing in those regards about those obstacles or whatever that particular situations. But what's hidden, okay? The unknown part of it. Both way. This is a magician part of it. It is trying to tell you, whatever you're experiencing in life, you can change the way how you feel. You can change the way how you view to expand the meaning of life, to expand your love capacity, to expand your wisdom from within you, and to expand outside all those humans' belief that you're surrounding throughout this lifetime. And that's how powerful your higher self is. As long as you can awaken your higher self without using your consciousness, without using your external self to evaluate this matter. And that's also the purpose why you need to go back and reflect them using this unknown card factors. I'm moving on to the guidance here. There seems to be two cards. Queen of Swords here. Feel like bitterness, sadness, still holding you tight. But it's asking you to wield this courage to see through that. Life does not have to be like that. Doesn't matter what you are going through regarding those past baggages that you're still carrying inside of you. It's asking you to have courage to face them, to release those unhappy moments. Can you turn that around and expand your love capacity in them? Can you expand your heart to have more compassion for yourself and others as well? Can you learn to forgive without compromising why you need to forgive? Or even forgiving, not just forgiving from you, but also receiving forgiveness from others. Why do I feel like you reject someone's forgiveness? I feel like somebody is trying to mend their wrong toward you, but I feel like you energetically reject that. Maybe you brush it off like, oh, it's okay. I move on. But underneath you, you know you're still holding that grudge. So I hope you see why you are closing your heart, unable to expand the love capacity. And this is a second guidance card here. The Knight of Swords. This is like a killing vibe here. It's like, I need to fight my way through. That's how I know to protect myself. That's the message I'm getting here. But on the other hand, it's saying, I'm drawing some healthy boundary here. This isn't about protecting myself anymore. This is about charging with this radiant light. Do you see that white horse on the unicorns? This is about the wing bolts, all the aura, like each color of the wing bolts representing Pacific aura. And it's saying that I'm embracing all those colorful life that I have, but I'm doing it out of the radiant light, not because of I need to be afraid. It's not because I need to protect myself from harm. It is because I want to be in the light. I want to expand my love. I want to expand the meaning of life beyond the cell, the ego cell. Because I know that being a human being, it's also about embracing other human beings as well, regardless of what they're going through, regardless of what you have been through with them, or even a stranger that you don't know now in the future. Can you embrace them with your love, compassions? And I hope you see where the light is coming from. It isn't coming from this fear-based living, trying to protect yourself, try to guard yourself, and try to fight like through argument, for whatever negative conversation that you might be having with whoever that you're encountering. Is there any more that Leilani needs to know? So your guardian said it's about letting go. Can you realize what kind of negativity that you've been attaching all this time? Can you go back and reflect on each one of them and see what can you do to release those negativity? This is about expanding your love capacity with compassion, with forgiveness. It is not about rejecting. It's more about acceptance and embrace. And I'm glad you ended here. May you find light from your spiritual guardian. And I hope this reading helped you. Also, just waiting for Alicia. Is asking about careers, the topics. God to use the to inform ascensions. Here. Define creativities. Clear energy block. But let me possibly go to the guidebook and see how it works here. I don't know why it's only giving me 2 cards. Define creativities. Page 99. Your soul will not rest until you surrender. And you must align with your soul original blueprints. You are the masterpiece and the co-creator of your own reality. If you activate this interdivine intelligence and release resistance, it will reveal exactly what you came here to do. This is a higher calling from your spiritual guardian, from divine, Alicia. It wants you to let go of your ego. It wants you to let go of this physical life form and live in your spiritual life form. That's what I'm getting here. I think the past, as of today, so far you're resisting this journey, this twin flame journey, being a spiritual worker. You want to call yourself light worker? Yeah, you can't do that. You're not like any particular human being on earth. Like majority of 99% of them that haven't gone through this spiritual awakening. Like you have, Alicia. It want you to surrender 100% to live in your spiritual form. You are a leader in this entire population of this world. Are you aware of that? You cannot lead by darkness. You gotta lead by your light. And that's what it's trying to tell you. Align to your soul original blueprints, not the personality that you think you have, not the personality that other people say that you have. Those are garbage, your guardian said. You have to go beyond your desire. Let go your personal desire. That's this ultimate career. This is your job. This is your defined job. Any other job won't matter. The resources that you seek are garbage. Whatever resources that you're getting, it's destined for you to have. You cannot ask for anything else. So you're going to have to accept the co-creation with divine in this lifetime. The question is, are you committed to do that? Are you determined to do that? Do you have the courage to do it? If you're not willing to embrace who you are, then you just gonna become another fallen angel like the rest of the 99% on this earth. Or do you rather be in that 1% special category? I'm not saying you have any special privilege here, but this is a extremely strong message, like a warning here. And there's no good outcome for you to continue to practice your darkness. And you know if you're going through a cycle and you know you are required to release your darkness to heal your soul so you can align to your soul blueprints. That is the fundamental basic about your living and nothing else. People that you care won't matter when you don't care about yourself. That is a very strong message to you, Alicia. I don't know what you have been doing so far. Resistance. You're resisting this light path. You're resisting your own soul blueprints. Why are you resisting your own soul? Because your narrow-minded perspective of living. Everything happening to you for a higher purpose is to align to your soul blueprint and nothing else. Are you aware of that? Your guardian said this is your lifetime careers and nothing else. Doesn't matter how you're going to get your resources. And you know you're being guided. And you know you're being nudged to do certain particular thing. There are no mistakes in any of that. Except learning your darkness. What it is that you still need to release. It doesn't matter about paying bills, where you're going to move to. If you're being called to go somewhere, yes, you will go there. You don't need to question why. You don't need to question the intention. But all you need to know, yeah, there's going to be triggers. There's going to be moment that you have to release what you're being triggered by. I'm talking about your inside. And that's all there is to it. You don't need to have meaning or life to do that, Alicia. If you listen to the beginning of the message, you already know you are that special 1% of this entire populations going through this deep awakening that other people are not even. It's not that they don't have opportunity. They resist all this time. They don't care about the darkness, how they are contributing darkness in this society. But Alicia, you are not like them. And you know, and you should know better by now. Clear energy block. This is your past. And this is going to be now. And this is going to be your future. And this is something I'm also talking about, the unknown stuff, that thing that you probably know and things that you're not aware of. And then at the same time, I'm giving you guidance. These two cards are inclusive in all four card position in this horses. But let me jump to the last card here. And I'm just like you, Alicia, but I already gone past way that. I even have to quit my last job, just FYI you. I was hesitating. I was afraid. How am I going to support my living and so forth, you know? But I did it because I understand I don't want to continue contributing darkness in this human society. I know I'm part of the culprit, and I'm willing to heal myself to light up this world. And guess what I'm doing right now? Helping people to do psychic reading, to help them to see that as well, you know. And I hope that this message can help you from my personal experience. What are you afraid of, Alicia? You need to ask yourself, why are you still afraid when this divine is supporting you, when this entire community is supporting you? Can you surrender 100% to this light path? You need to honestly ask yourself. Let go of your fear. When you feel afraid, when you're being triggered, it's time to let go. It is safe to do your inner work. Doesn't matter where you are. Doesn't matter the time. Doesn't matter. It's early in the morning when you've been awake to do it. Just do it. Why? Because you know it's good for your soul. You know you're here to realign back to your soul blueprints. All this garbage that you've been experiencing in this lifetime, it to warp your own soul. You wouldn't able to know who is Alicia anymore because all those human darkness keep influencing you, keep encouraging you to trap you into your own darkness. But you need to realize it. Once you realize it, that's all you ever need to do. You are safe. There's no need to be afraid. There's no need to use fear to protect yourself, to anticipate anything in this lifetime. And it's okay, doesn't matter when you're going to die or how you're going to die. But that's not important, Alicia. When you already know your soul have already traveled the many life journeys. So what does it matter about the survival in this lifetime? Because fear trap you into survival mode. You're gonna have to figure that out. What's causing you fear to release it, so you're not having this survival mode to continue to resist this life path. And that's why you need to surrender 100%, not 99%. And you know it when you're resisting it. Clear energy block. Do I need a guidebook on this? What kind of blockage? All 7 chakra system are being stuck somehow because of your resistances. Grounding yourself. You need to first work on your base chakra, your root chakra, so-called ROOT. If you need root chakra music, that's resonating. If not, do silent meditations. This isn't about activation. This is more about silencing your egos. Shift your focus from the outside to your inside. So that way you can release those influences. Yes, you're still under influences because you're still under attachment. Whether you're aware of them or not, but you're going to have to go deeper than that through life events. That's when you're going to get triggers. You are safe, Alicia. Again, even when you're being triggered by fear and you know it, grabs that. Go within and release it. Expand your heart to unconditional love. Do not condition your life. When the more you conditioning your life, the more you're blocking your chakra system. Unable to be grounded because you're allowing emotional turbulence to get to you, to put you in a reactive phase, to get stuck in a reaction. When you are stuck in that, you couldn't have inner awareness to say, oh, I'm feeling this fear right now. I need to release it. And I know the reason why I'm being triggered by this life situation, causing me the fear. And you have to go deeper to evaluate, hey, what is that situation? Why is causing me fear? Is it because of codependency in life that cause you to stuck in a survival mode? Is it because of particular resource like money that you feel like you need to get to pay bills that cause you to be fear? Because you want to extend your life, because you want to survive, that drive you to have fear, to drive you to acquire certain resources in this human society. And that's why you're trapped in those 99% of those population. That's what they're doing. I hope you're aware of that. You're not like them. So you need to transcend yourself out of that 99% population and be that 1% populations, to focus on this career of healing your soul, to return back to your soul blueprints. And that's all you ever need. Any more about your wood chakra system? Yeah, silent meditation. When you do silent meditation, you don't really rely on music anymore. Like majority of the people are relying on some sort of tool. Silent meditation, you can do it anywhere. Doesn't matter the environment. When you create your own sacred space to hold that beautiful energy, you can do silent meditation anywhere. That no environment can cause you any negativity. No environment can cause you to have emotional reaction. I'm giving you a very advanced meditation technique here. I used to do that. I could do it anywhere because I have so much awareness, my insight. I know my purpose of this lifetime. Anything else won't matter. So I hope you see you can practice this. You can start from a sacred space in a physical environment. Later on, you're going to transcend out of that and do it anywhere you're going. Why is it important? To increase your inner awareness that you're having emotional trigger. It's tied to a specific life event. That moment in time, that is the moment that you have to do your inner work, but there's no other place to do it. Once that emotional trigger is gone, you move on to the next cycle and the next cycle. How many opportunities are you missing? A few? Many? Varies. From so far your timeline, I'm getting sometime a lot, sometimes some, sometime a few. That's what I'm getting throughout this lifetime. So something's going on. Either you're under influence or you're being too much interacting with that particular life event and forgot, oh, I need to do inner work. Oh, I didn't realize I'm having emotional triggers because I'm getting trapped in those emotional reactions with specific individuals. That's what trapped you to forget to, oh, I'm supposed to release this. Oopsie. You see what I mean, Alicia? You just missed that opportunity. But that's okay, Alicia. As long as you are aware you missed those opportunities, let's take advantage of that again whenever that life event comes to you. And that is important to understand that. The more you practice, the better you're going to get. Anything else about the energy blocks? The crown chakra. Because of your past resistance as of today, you're blocking your connection to your higher self. You have psychic abilities beyond the intuition. Intuition is just through your third eye chakra to connect to your higher self. That is how you activate your soul language, right? Intuition. The sixth sense have nothing to do with those five senses in your physical body. That is what it's trying to tell you. You need to do your 100% surrendering, co-create with divine every single day, every moment in your life. You are a divine child. Your soul comes from there, not nowhere else. Your parent might birth your body, but definitely not your soul. Alicia, that's why you're that 1% population on this earth. To lead with light, connect with your light, and you will get it. And that's what causing you to block your crown chakra. She allowed to know her psychic abilities. You have to connect with this crown chakra to figure out yourself, because you have this special ability to communicate with your spirit guide. There's no reason for you not to figure out yourself. There is a step-by-step progress to get there. You cannot just ask for, oh, what is my special psychic ability? There's no way to jump this timeline. This is not co-creating with divine. You just engage in personal desire, wanting what that is, for what purpose? Out of curiosity? Everything is in divine timing for you. You cannot have that type of personal desire. If you're triggered by that, time to release it, and you already know your higher purpose for that first card that I mentioned to you. Your personal desires get in the way of not wanting to surrender to co-create with divine 100%. Once when you get there, everything will open up to you, all 7 chakra system. You don't even have to do anything. It's naturally done. Whenever you're guided to do specific thing, do it. You don't need to doubt it. When you're having doubt, it's another negative energy that's blocking you. A lot of things blocking is self-inflicted. And I want you to understand that. The more negativity you're holding on to, the more you're blocking your 7 chakra system, unable to communicate with your spirit guide, unable to interpret those spiritual signs accurately. Because a personal desire is a major culprit. Where is that coming from? Survival mode, anticipations. I have preference. I prefer this. Doesn't matter what divine is trying to nudge me to do. I prefer this. It's another culprit. It's not we. Co-creation, it's about we. Divine and I. Get used to that, Alicia. Divine and I, not just Alicia. Without divine guiding you, supporting you in this community, how are you going to know what is serving your greatest good, Alicia, when you're under so much dark influence by all this human? Generation after generation, they chose negativity to live this lifetime. And I hope you understand you don't even need to activate anything. Just grounding yourself is the fundamental basic right now. so that way you can naturally connect with everything. The more you do your inner work, the better. The more you co-create with divine, the better. Everything will naturally comes to you. If you're worried, Alicia, this is another trigger. Why do I sense you're worried? Are you aware of that? This is another negative feelings, worry, on survival mode because of fear. Is there anything else she needs to know? Is there any more? No. Is there a spiritual message for her? Feather. When you see feather, your spirit guide is there with you. It wants you to acknowledge him and her. You have at least 2 spirit guides with you. Is there any particular message from them? No, she knows it. They always communicate with you somehow, but your misinterpretation is a culprit of that. So surrender to what they're sending you. Listen with silence. Listen without personal judgment. Listen without personal desire. That's what causing you to misinterpret what they're trying to tell you. It is a type of frequency. Anything else? Numbers. Number signs. Number 3. You need to shift your focus from outside to the inside. You're not focusing on yourself. When you see 3 singular numbers, yeah, it's just a basic warning. You see 2 of the 3 together, the warning is intensified that you're still not focusing on your inside. To release, to heal. Be aware of that. Is that number 3 together? It's even more serious. It's telling you you're moving away from your light path. You're getting back into your dark path. That's a serious warning. You don't want to be a dark being. You know how special you are, and you know you're a leader to light up this world, and you know that. Saving yourself is saving other. You're saving the future generation of this human being. Anything else about number sign? Number 4. Singular 4. West. You need to pause actions. When it's west, meaning pause your actions. You're engaging too much physical activities. You're not sensing, using your intuitive ability to sense. Instead, you're engaging your egos into actions. When you're seeing 4, yeah, you need to pause, freeze. Anything else about the 4? Anything else? So far, that's it. Animal signs. The owls symbolize inner wisdom for you. Work on your inner wisdom, not the wisdom that you acquire from the outside, not through education, not through family, not through people that you find them intelligent. Not even me, okay, Alicia? I'm just directly communicating with your spirit guides right now, not even through me. Inner wisdom is come from your soul blueprint. It's come from divine co-creation. Your life path is different than anybody else, including mine, okay? Don't use me as an example. Anything else about animal signs? The crow. Deeper self-reflection is necessary. The crow sign. It is about self-transformations from the inside, not from the outside. Doesn't matter what kind of task that you're doing on the outside. It is about self-transformation from the inside. Look at your outside activity as tasks to another task, but nothing else. But if you're attaching to some sort of emotion toward the task, that is another trigger for you, Alicia. And you know you need to do your inner work. Anything else? I'm glad to end here. May you find light from your spiritual guardians. I'm saving this for you, Alicia, in the Pinterest using today's day. I feel like you need to re-listen to it. This is a special guidance for you. And my Pinterest webpage is on this profile. Just type it on the internet. You might have to create an account. Do you want me to see how many Alicia past reading that I did for her? You might as well write it down the calendar date, wherever I'm pulling for my YouTube, okay? But it's easier to find it on my Pinterest because YouTube might not see the titles because the title gets pretty long. Alicia, let me see. Alicia, okay, I'm pulling your name. Hopefully you were able to find it, okay? Can you write this down? April 21st to April 22nd, April 15, March 24th, March 19, March 16, March 11, March 6th, March 5th, and March 2nd, and that's it. And I'm not sure, I don't think I have that many Alicia, okay? But you will know if that's reading is for you, if that sounds familiar, okay? Horses reading for Devona using the Moonology Oracle card, asking for guidance to career success. Okay, the past, don't let your past hold you back. What's going on with her past? South Node. Something about stuck in something that's not serving your greatest good. Perhaps you're stuck in the fear of paying bills, how to meet the ends meet, how to save for particular things. That is kind of narrow you about career choice, kind of narrow you to do something that you actually have passion for. And that's what the South Node is about in astrology, is studying that is not the authentic version of you. That's what South Node is meaning in that. But moving toward to the North Node, which is more authentic to you, where you can actually find soul fulfillment. It doesn't matter how much you're making, okay? Devona, it's not about the wealth in that abundance sense, but it's about, hey, are you doing something meaningful? Are you doing something happy? Do you feel your soul is actually alive instead of just doing like the task every single day and get a huge paycheck, and that's it? Buy yourself things, pay the bills, and then live like that for the rest of your life. But what's the meaning of all of that? Every single job can do that. But what's the emotional side? Where's the heart and soul involved in this, right? And that's why people get bored. That's why people get burned out in a job, because they just don't realize, oh, I'm just doing it for a paycheck, for survival. There's no real true meaning because there's no connection to the heart and soul. So I hope you realize what that is, right? Anything else about the past? The present. Luck is on your side. New moon in Sagittarius. New moon. New moon. There's like a moon cycle going on, like a monthly cycle. Perhaps might be start from the mid. When is the next new moon? I think it's usually start from the mid month. New moon is a beginning of something, to birth something. It's like creativity. When is the next new moon? July 14. Yeah, that's what I thought. July 14 is the new moon. So it's good right now to do reflections, okay? This is like July 14, getting close to like reflecting what it is that is not serving your greatest good. What it is that you need to release. So so that way you can birth creativity in this new moon starting July 14, okay? But if you don't do self-assessment, how would you know what is not your serving your greatest good? What happened the past couple, 3.5 weeks? What's going on with you, Devona? What happened in your life? I think you need to go back and reflect on that. If there's some unhappy feelings, there's some unpleasantness that you've been encountering that trigger you not so happy or put you in a not so good mood in a way, then time to reflect on that so you can create something new for yourself. I'm not saying move away from them, but can you learn something to release that? Can you learn something so you can transform your inside? So that way, next time when you encounter similar situation, you're not being so having mood swing or having this unhappy feeling in that regard, or maybe even boredom. For some reason, maybe you're bored or something, or maybe there's no meaning of life or something in that particular sense. So I hope that makes sense, okay, Devana, what you need to do in this moon cycles. It's going to help you to realize it. But for some reason, I feel like you're in some sort of moon cycles. So Moonology reading will be a great choice of reading to do for you if you ever need that kind of monthly Moonology readings, okay? But I'm currently not doing it live, but private requests. So luck is on your side, but is there any more particular meaning on that? Doing what you love, doing what's so fulfilling, it's a blessing to you in this lifetime. So do not judge how little might that be, because I feel like there's something special about your life journey, something that you might encounter a guy in the future or something, or maybe you're already with him. That's what I'm sensing. Like he's like a support system to you. Sometimes you don't have to make a lot, in that sense. Sometimes the man is your financial support. So once you understand what is so fulfilling and understand what is passionate to you, and that will be great. But however, along the way, if you are being triggered by some negative feelings, then you need to work on releasing that. So that way you're not inciting darkness in something that you loves to do, okay? Because when you mixing passion with darkness, it's only create darkness, and then makes you think, makes you doubt your passions, you know. So I hope you realize it. If you don't have a relationship right now, it's probably in the future. That's what I'm channeling here for you. But you need to expand your social circles. So don't judge what you do. You never know how you expand your social circle, even with something you're passionate about that you're doing that could also expand your social circles, okay? Doesn't matter how it comes to you. Just let things flow, okay? But don't judge. Judgment is a negative vibe. You don't want to engage in judgment. So be more open-minded to receive all possibility in your life. So that way luck can be on your side, right? If you engaging in negativity, in this type of judgment, in more of a negative feeling, then you're gonna rob your own luck. So be mindful about like attract like your negativity attract more of the same thing, and you don't want to keep attracting negativity because your inside is manifesting that. So let me move on to the unknown. Conclusion are within reach. Conclusions. Can I go to guidebook on this one? Conclusions. Join conclusion too soon? Not enough informations to understand your own feelings? So you join conclusion too soon about careers. Oh, because she is mixing her passion with her negativity to think that this is not the right career for her. That's what it is. Devona, your emotions are at play here. It's impacting you on how you conclude so immaturely. Something along the way in this lifetime in your career, you had tended negativities and not realizing it. I don't think it is a mistake why you do what you do, why you chose that from the beginning, because it was really your true passions. But you allow your negativities get in the way. You're encouraging it. You allow the encouragement wherever you're encountering every single day. You allow the encouragement of your negativities to happen, to rob your passion, to create doubt, to put your self-esteem down, like this is not enough. But in fact it is enough. Do you see how your negativity can manifest negativities? It's already been happening for some time and you're not realizing that. So you need to look on the bright side about, yeah, I will affirm it to you. It is your passion. It is not the wrong path to be. But you need to learn and grow. If you're not willing to learn and grow in this passion, the career that you're having, then what else can you do? I mean, to think that this isn't it, to think that this is not so fulfilling. So emotion is quite tricky. So don't let those negativity to make you think this is not your true passions. So if you're encountering that negativity, then you need to question why, why tend it with your passions to suppress your own self, to suppress the success that you're supposed to have in these passions. So let me move on to, is this guided now? You and your loved one are safe? Is this unknown? Guidance. Why is that? I feel like people, your loved ones, is it about included? family, I don't know, whoever in your social circle you find significant to you. I think this is an affirmation about that. No, it's the other side of it. Something is going on about the people that you care about. So it is your daughter. I don't know, your guy saying your daughter. It's not safe. So you have more than one. So who am I talking to? Is there particular someone in the family? It's not allow me to say who, but some particular individual in your family, it's not safe. Is there a particular message here? Criticism. Do not criticize. Criticisms create more harm to your family. I'm not allowed to affirm who that is, but I feel like criticism in this social circle harming these individuals. It is not coming from love. I don't know who's doing that. Who is criticizing? Who is saying that this person is not enough? Whatever you do is not enough in a negative way. Whatever that is, criticism doesn't mean, oh, I'm finding fault with you. Criticism is meaning you shouldn't do this, it's not good for you, or hey, I have an idea, and suppressing this individual's own opinions. That type of criticism. Criticism can come in so many different forms, might not be the way you're thinking about Devona. For whatever reason, this person is in some sort of troubles because of all those negativities surrounding these individuals from that family social circle. That's all I'm allowed to channel. Anything else? So it needs to let go that kind of negativities to bring light into the matters. It's not good for the emotional health of this individual who is not safe or who is in trouble. Okay, because this person need to speak the truth. This person need to have that freedom to speak whatever they need to or to share with that family social circles. That's what I'm getting. When there's no safe space to do that, this person tend to pretend like things is okay, oh, no big deal, or whatever that is. That's what I'm sensing. So the last card, confidence, is your key to success. Confidence. Not having confidence, it's already robbed your success. Like doubt, as I mentioned, when you doubt about, oh, is this the right things to do? Or maybe there's the other motive that cause you to think that, oh, no, this is not good enough, I need to move to something else. That's already makes you lose your confidence in what you're doing now or even in the past. So this confidence, you can only give it to yourself. You cannot rely on what you do. You cannot rely on someone to give it to you. You cannot rely on the end result to say, oh, this is successful and now I feel confident. That's codependency of the outcomes. Confident, it's about, I know who Devona is. I know my purpose of life. I know what I love. And I know my passions. And I know I'm with people that I cherish every day. Do you see that confidence that I know who I am? What make me so fulfilling? And I understand the meaning of life. It's about love. It's about light. It isn't about fear. It isn't about anticipating. It isn't about having desperation of some sort of desires. Do you see this type of confidence? It's already enough from the inside and it's going to shine in your aura. And that's what the type of energy that you need from that. Doubt, fear, rob this away from you, trigger you to think that you're not having a passionate career. Is there anything else I need to do for Devona here? I'm glad to end here. May you find life from your spiritual guardian, and I hope this help you, okay, with guarding your career guidance.